Last year, Missouri created a waitlist for developmental disability waiver services due to limited funding. That means that hundreds of individuals across the state of Missouri were left without the care and support that they need. But there's been progress. In 2025, a supplemental budget was passed by the governor, and this allowed the state to start removing some of those individuals from the waitlist, which is a complete step in the right direction. We've spoken to a few of those individuals and their families to better understand the impact of this ongoing issue and how it's affected their day-to-day lives.
My name is Rebecca Foster and I live in Richland, Missouri. Jimmy is an 8-year-old little boy. He's a very lively little boy, likes to climb, run, hide. Jimmy is a very sweet boy. As where most children don't like to be affectionate, he is actually a really affectionate little boy. He wants a lot of cuddles, a lot of compression, just a lot of love. He has autism level 3, as well as Zellweger's and some other mutations in his DNA. Autism 3 is he is a full-time care. He is not able to dress himself. He's still in diapers. Basically, he's a flight risk. He requires eyes on him 24/7. Zellweger is a proximal disorder. Basically, it's a mutation in their genetic system. Most pass very early. Most don't live a year because they're not able to eat or process food. It attacks the gray matter in their bodies, their nerve sheaths, their brain. It is a terminal syndrome, so there will be symptoms that can be treated but not ever cured. He doesn't make stomach acid. He doesn't process many chemicals. And anything that doesn't process causes fatty acid chains to build in his blood, which will make the decline become quicker. It damages their liver. So at one time he will either need to be a transplant, but he's not an option. They've already discussed that. As Jimmy gets older, he's harder to take care of. If he's having a fit, he can be violent, so I have to be able to get to him immediately. You can't cook because he is attracted to the fire. So I spend a lot of time basically in whichever room he's in, standing over him, because he also doesn't feel pain. Right now, we have a camera system and sensors, geotags for tracking. Like I said, he is a flight risk. I've also been approved for self-directed, which would enable me to have someone in home to help with him 5 hours a day, which would be a lot of help. As I said, he is 24/7. It is just me. I would have time to take care of my other children, whatever the family needed. We have yet to even be able to start that. Jimmy should have rolled last September, and we have yet to hear anything from them. One option was they said at one time it could be as long as July before he could receive any of his services. If the waitlist continues, there's nothing they can do. The self-directed will not be started. He cannot receive any equipment right now, which is something they've done. They do pay for the service for the alarms and the geotag. I would assume that will be ending as well because it goes year by year. And if the waitlist doesn't end, then there's no hope.
My name is Shayla Mitchell, and I am a service coordinator with Empower in Pettis County, and I am Troy Comley's service coordinator. I have been Troy's service coordinator for a little over a year. He's pretty quirky. He can be a grumpy old man, but he's got a lot of humor, and he loves his pet cat. Troy doesn't get to go out and do things on his own anymore. So most of his time spent in his apartment. I think that's part of the reason that he values his cat so much, is that's the one constant companion that he has. Troy was placed on the wait list in September of 2024. We requested a comp waiver for him because he is in need of residential services. There are things that he just can't do for himself. He cannot clean for himself. He cannot groom himself. He can't take his medications properly. And those things kind of fuel his physical health as well, which is also declining. So it's been a battle for him. The only reason that he is not homeless at this point is from the kindness of his apartment complex heart, I've had to reassure them we're waiting. He is going to get a waiver. He will have a provider. They will help him keep up with things that he's not doing now. And they've been very lenient with him, but had they not, he would be homeless. The governor signed supplemental funds that would kind of, bridge the gap for those that hadn't been able to get a waiver. It's allowed them to go ahead and be assigned their waiver slot. For Troy, personally, he would be homeless if he didn't have a waiver. Troy is not the only one that is in a similar situation. And like I mentioned earlier, he was only able to stay in his apartment because someone was kind enough to let him. That doesn't always happen, and that's not something that we can rely on. So there will be others that will be homeless. You're denying people the chance at growth, at having a life. I have people that sit at home and they see nothing but four walls when they could be at a day program and learning independent skills and making friends. Have a job and be appropriate in those situations. Those are things that people want, but they can't have because of the wait list. They get to sit at home. They're just as deserving of a good life as any of us. I can get up and come to work in the morning and it fulfills something in me, and I can go out and enjoy hobbies that I want. And that's something that fulfills me. These are people that might not be able to do it on their own, but that does not mean that they don't deserve that same fulfillment.
Their stories are powerful, and they remind us that behind every number is a person waiting for help. As of today, over 500 people are still waiting, and that's why your voice matters. Now is the time to contact your state legislators, share your story, urge them to support a budget that fully funds services for people with developmental disabilities. One-time funding isn't enough. We need long-term solutions. So at JCBS, we're following every update. We're here to support you. If you or your loved one is still on the wait list, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and together we can make a difference.